Hello. Can you guys hear me? Type in the chat if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay. Great. Welcome everyone. Hello. My name is Dr. Betty DeLass. If you're just jumping on, please let me know who you are and where you're from in the chat. I'd love to know if you have never been pregnant, are pregnant, or hoping to get pregnant, if you're postpartum, and how many kids you do or do not have. I'm just going to let everyone jump on here on the call, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Hello, Amanda. You're done with kiddos. You have 3. Awesome. Brianna. Hi, Brianna. Good to see you again. And I hope Florida's treating you well. 2 kids there. Barbara, North Carolina. 6 kids. Elle, 2 kids. Never been pregnant, but want to be prepared. Love it. I love that. Katie, Utah. Done with kids, but have 2. Keely, 3-year-old and currently 34 weeks pregnant. Hi. Courtney just had her 3rd baby 6 weeks ago. Awesome. Megan, Utah, 2 kiddos. Brooke, trying for another one. Awesome. Oh my goodness, you guys are popping in here. 3 kids, 6 months, and a doula. Oh, I love doulas. Wonderful. And then Lehigh, awesome. 14 months postpartum, 6 kiddos. Awesome. Lorraine, 3 now teenagers. Awesome. Rachel, pregnant with 4. Katie, 4 kids. Awesome. I love this. You guys are all great. Welcome. Well, we're going to go ahead and just get started here. So welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Betty DeLass, and I'm the founder and owner of Reborn Pelvic Health and Wellness, and I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist. And I specialize in all the things pelvic floor, basically before, during, and after pregnancy, because let's be honest, postpartum is forever. Even if you are 5, 10 years removed from birth, your last birth, it's still relevant. So, and even if you've ever had kids, also still relevant. So everything I'm going to be talking about today is going to apply to each and every one of you here. Everybody and everybody has a pelvic floor. I just want to take time and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule here to be here for this Adore Your Pelvic Floor Kickstart. And it's a holistic, no Kegels approach to taking charge from your body and life from the inside out. You obviously care and are curious about your pelvic health and are willing to do what it takes to improve it, especially to stop those pesky leaks that keep happening. So just acknowledge yourself for being here. I know it's hard to carve out time for yourself, especially if you do have kids, and I'm super proud of you for doing that today. Let me go ahead and get the slides shared here. Okay, you guys can all see the slides? Good there? I'm gonna make myself a little bit bigger so you can see me. Perfect. All right. All right, so that's what we're gonna be talking about today. We're gonna talk about how to stop leaking or peeing your pants when you cough, sneeze, laugh, or jump, or run. First off, a little bit about myself. I want to be a little bit real, raw, and vulnerable with you both right up front from the get-go. So before, during, and after pregnancy has been one of the most challenging, humbling, and beautiful times of my life. It's also the biggest change that happens in our body during your entire life, bigger than any other musculoskeletal thing that happens. And if not multiple times, a lot of us do it. So I've personally had my fair share of joy and struggles on and off throughout all of it. I had a miscarriage. I had unexplained infertility. I've had low back pain. I've had pubic bone symphysis pain. I sneezed and I peed my pants, soaking myself to my shoes my first week postpartum. I also had diastasis recti, where your abdominal muscles separate. I had prolapse, where your organs are kind of falling down in your pelvis. I've had hemorrhoids. I've encountered painful intercourse. And I also had postpartum anxiety and depression. I also did pelvic floor physical therapy and rehabbed myself and was able to return to long distance running endurance sports like running, biking, swimming, hiking, and had lasting relief from all of those symptoms, including dry pants. So I like just like most of people think, I thought I was genetically predisposed for leaking postpartum, as it was all that I'd ever heard anyone talk about. But nope, I was like bound and determined to not let that be me. And like so many of us, even as a physical therapist, before I became a pelvic floor physical therapist, I thought that Kegels were the answers, like to everything during pregnancy, postpartum, and pelvic floor. And unfortunately, I learned the hard way that by doing thousands of unnecessary Kegels, I learned from my mistakes and really discovered a more holistic approach. I quickly became the expert of my own body from the inside out, and I was able to resolve all of my issues down there. So I could get back to doing things that I wanted to do, including hiking and running and jumping and all things like that. And I'm able to still keep my pants dry. So what I want you to know is that what's common during these seasons of life does not mean that it's normal. And there's so much more that can be done to heal and really optimize your body and its functions around movement, pain, poop, pee, and sex. So you don't just have to live with it just because you had kids. And I'm going to share that exact system on today's call. What I do want you to know is that you're not broken and you're not alone. And there's totally hope, help, and healing. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to be going over a bonus with our main knowledge bomb today, being our 3-tiered foolproof hack to stop leaking when you sneeze, cough, laugh, jump, lift, or run overnight. Literally, guys, overnight. Lots of people can do it. And I've had some other amazing bonuses coming your way too, but you have to stay to the end for them. And yes, I am taking attendance, so it will count if you're here at the end. Personally and professionally as a practitioner, I've treated thousands of women who are struggling with peeing themselves when they sneeze, cough, laugh, jump, run, anything like that. And it doesn't just stop with that. I've also specialized in helping people get back to continuing to work out and be without being sidelined by low back pain, SI joint pain, pubic bone pain, hip pain, or tailbone pain. And also being able to achieve pain-free intercourse, penetration, or pelvic exams, as well as many other things like prolapse, diastasis recti, the abdominal separation, and the list goes on. So please don't be shy. And I want you to go ahead in the chat and throw a me down in there if you have struggled with anything regarding your pelvic health at all. Oh, thanks, Brianna. Yes, yes. Okay, good. Everyone is in the right spot. You're totally here in the right spot. Great. Yeah, pretty much all of us have struggled at some point or another. Yep. Great. Okay, awesome. Yeah, lots of long-standing problems too for some people. Awesome. All of the above. Oh, my heart goes out to you. Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, great, guys, because I'm going to help you overcome this peeing with coughing, sneezing, laughing, jumping, lifting, and running. We're not going to stop there either. We're also going to be able to help you get rid of ditching your low back pain, SI pain, hip and pubic bone pain, and improve your intimate life too. So you can get back to really participating in life and living life to the fullest instead of sitting on the sidelines and watching. I'm going to give you some simple, effective tools and strategies to begin our holistic no Kegels approach to take charge of your body and life from the inside out. Here's what I want you to know. This is so much bigger than just peeing your pants a little bit. Am I right? Like, this is about feeling confident and in control of your disconnected and foreign body. This is about being able to get back in the gym and work out for your mental and emotional sanity and not be embarrassed and not have to wear pads or only black leggings all the time. And it's also about returning to passion in the bedroom without fear or dread of pain and discomfort getting in the way so that you can reconnect with your partner. It's so much bigger than the pelvic floor itself. And then if you can do what you want to do when you want to do it without worrying about what's going to happen, then you'll be able to be a better spouse, significant other, mom, friend, parent, and servant to both your family and community. Literally, the whole world will change. Literally, one vagina at a time is what I like to say. So I know most of you are here because you want to understand and have confidence and control over your bladder. And I bet right now, if we looked at everyone here, you've probably been told by someone to do Kegels and they didn't work for you. So if you've been told to do Kegels and you've tried it, I want you to put it in the chat and let me know and just write Kegels if you've tried it and they didn't work. Come on, guys. I know you've tried Kegels. Yep, perfect. Didn't work. Awesome. Yep. All right, there we go. They're all coming in now. Everyone's tried Kegels. Yep, didn't work. Awesome. That's why you're here, right? And we're going to change all of that with our no Kegels approach to really reframe and produce the outcome of no more leaking. So you can really take control of your body from the inside out with confidence and control that lasts like for a lifetime. Okay, let me just change slides here. Okay, so our goals today by the end of this training is to, one, be able to gain confidence and control over your bladder with our proprietary no Kegels method. Also to then learn why Kegels might be doing more harm than good so that you can wear any color leggings when working out. And as a bonus for joining live today and staying until the end, you're going to get access to our 3-tiered foolproof hack to stop leaking overnight when you sneeze, cough, laugh, jump, lift, or run. I'm going to give you as much as I can information-wise in these 90 minutes that we have so you can really see how to stop leaking without doing hundreds of unnecessary Kegels. And at the end, I'm going to share an easy way for you to take this even further. Now, you're all here because you've been struggling with some sort of like leaking or pelvic floor issue or thing like that. So what I want you to be able to do is to participate, like I said, really confidently and in control of your bladder, core, and pelvic floor and overall body function with whatever you're doing in your day-to-day life. So how do I know this? Like, how do I know this is why you're going to be here? Because this was literally me. Once I had children, I had to go figure it out for myself. I was already a physical therapist. I was literally told to do Kegels by another pelvic floor physical therapist, and it made my symptoms worse. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was not going to settle for that. And I'm not going to accept that this is just normal after having kids. And I'm literally so passionate about this because I know how challenging it can be to like not feel in control of your body and not really know what's going on and why is this happening. And I realized that this is just a huge disservice to all of our birthing people and that we're not appropriately helping people overcome some of these very common things that are very easily done well with pelvic floor physical therapy. So through my own personal struggles, I discovered a holistic non-Kegels approach. You're literally standing right where I stood. You have tons of questions. You want a solution. You deserve more. And then that this is just normal, the price of having children, or give it more time, or do your Kegels. I'm here to tell you, like, you don't have to settle. You don't just have to live with it, and you don't have to do hundreds of Kegels. I'm here to help you change your life for the better. And I'm also here to change the world one vagina at a time. So literally, this can be possible for anyone. I have a proven method that has worked time and time again for thousands of patients and clients, helping them keep their pants dry in addition to resolving their low back, pelvic pain, SI joint, pubic bone, tailbone, and being able to return to an enjoyable sex life as well. And it's all without having to do Kegels. Okay, so I'm going to share our step-by-step process with you today. And if you want to join in the revolution of changing the world one vagina at a time with me, I'm going to show you how you can do that at the end. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the good stuff now. All right, so we're going to just go over, first of all, the 5 phases of pelvic health and wellness is what I like to call them. And I hope everyone makes it through them as fast as possible so that you don't waste any time staying in one of them. So the first stage is the OMG stage. Then we have the Kegel stage, then the prevention stage, then it changed my life stage, and then finally, stage 5, the optimal vagina stage. So I'm going to dive into each one of these. The first stage is the OMG stage. And this is, what's the pelvic floor? I don't even know what she's talking about. OMG, is she talking about what I think she's talking about? Is that a thing? Like there's stuff for that? And then stage 2 is the Kegel stage. I've heard of it. You do Kegels, right? Like my doctor told me to do 100 Kegels a day and that'll keep me and my pants dry and I'll totally stop leaking. I just need to do more Kegels. Stage 3, the prevention stage. Ugh, why are these Kegels not working? I've been doing 100 of them every day. I've been dealing with some stuff down there. I Googled some things. I scoured the internet and nothing's helping. No one's addressing this leaking or pain with intercourse or low back pain. Every time I give my kids a bath, my grandma and mom had surgery. Everyone keeps offering me medication and surgery. I don't want meds and I don't want surgery. I know I need some kind of help. This stuff really isn't normal. But my friend said something about pelvic PT. Maybe I should look into that. Stage 4 is the changed my life stage. I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but I did it. I took the plunge. I went to pelvic rehab and it changed my life. Or you're currently going to pelvic floor rehab and it's currently changing your life and you can't stop telling all your friends about it. And then finally, stage 5, the optimal vagina stage. This is where you're continuing with optimal health and wellness, doing things with dry pants, pain-free and enjoyable. And in addition to challenging yourself along the way, doing new heights of things that you've never thought were possible. And you're not even thinking about your pelvic floor at all, which is exactly what we want. You can wear whatever color leggings you want. You don't have to know where the nearest bathroom is. And some of you might just even pivot your career and become a pelvic floor health practitioner. So you love it so much. So now's another opportunity to go in the chat and let me know which stage you're currently at. Obviously, I want everyone to get to stage 5. So let me know which stage you are in. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, or stage 5. Prevention, nice. Prevention, awesome. Prevention, oh, great. 2 and 2 and 4, awesome. 3, love it. I love this, great guys. This is awesome. Okay, ooh, some of you guys are 4s, I like it. All right. We're going to jump into what is the pelvic floor. So I'm going to show you my little model here in a second. First of all, it's the pelvis and the muscles that are involved, kind of like a sling in the bowl. It holds up your organs. It stops the flow of urine and poop, holds farts in. It also stretches 2 to 3 times during a vaginal delivery. And it's part of a system. It doesn't really work in isolation. So I want you to remember that piece. And then also it's a connection point between your upper body and your lower body. It's basically grand central station of energy exchange up and down the chain. So here's my pelvis here. Everything in red is muscles. So that is considered the pelvic floor. Okay. And then what it does for the functions of it is 5 different things, basically. It supports those organs. It's sphincteric, meaning it opens and closes to let things in and out, both in the vaginal canal and the rectal canal and the urethra. And then it's also sexual, meaning it relaxes for penetration and also contracts for orgasm. And then stability, it fixes the trunk when your extremities move. So when your arms move, your legs move, things like that, it helps stabilize the trunk. And then also it's a sump pump for the circulation system to move lymphatic fluid up and down. So basically it goes up and down like this to move fluid. Okay, get this question a lot. How is it different from an OBGYN or a midwife visit versus pelvic floor rehab? So the key here is we both do internal exams, but our exams are very, very different in what we're looking at. So from a pelvic PT standpoint, we're looking at the musculoskeletal system. We're looking at movement analysis from the whole body. So when we do an evaluation, we're going to do a head-to-toe movement analysis on you to see how you move as a person. How does your squat look? What does your balance look like? What does it look like when you move? And then vice versa, we will move you to see what it feels like when you move. And then we'll look at your entire spine. We'll look at your rib cage. We'll look at your breathing patterns. We'll look at your abdomen. We'll check for diastasis, where the abdominal wall separates. We will also look at your hips, your low back, your pelvis, your SI joints, your pubic bone, tailbone, all the way down to your feet. And then we will look at coordination, scar tissue, range of motion, strength, prolapse, all internally. So we're looking through that lens of a PT, not necessarily looking at like organ function, but what's the mobility of everything through that? What's the strength, coordination, trigger points, endurance, all sorts of things like that. We kind of then take those big picture movements and the small picture movements and really combine them together to figure out what specifically you're needing for rehab through that. So that's kind of what the difference is for us there. Next, let's talk about why pelvic floor rehab is so important for both before, during, and after pregnancy. So I want you to think about any other injury that would happen with or you'd have surgery for. What would you do? Like, let's take, for example, the shoulder or the knee. If you were to start rehab or have an injury, when would you start rehab? Think about that for a second. Most of the time it's in the hospital or right away afterwards, you're going in and you do rehab for months afterwards. Like if you tear your ACL or rotator cuff, like it's months of rehab. And before you're going to get back to those higher level activities like throwing a ball, kicking a ball, anything like that. So what do we do with pregnancy and postpartum? We deliver a baby, we send you home to care for it and do the laundry, the grocery shopping, the cleaning, the cooking without sleep. And then you come back in for a 6-week appointment, a checkup, and boom, voila, you're cleared. You're good. Go have sex, work out. Everything looks great. Does anyone else get like enraged about this like I do? I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so not good. And that's honestly like one of my biggest pet peeves is like, we really need to change the standard of care through that. So if you get fired up like this, how I do of like, oh my gosh, we should totally have rehab for this, like standard of care, please put a me in the chat now. If you're like, oh my gosh, this needs to change, put a me. So I just think like, why wouldn't we do this with pregnancy? It's literally the biggest musculoskeletal change in your life in a short period of time. And some of us do it multiple times. There's muscles, bones, ligaments, nerves down there, and they need just as much TLC, if not more, than any other part of our body. And I mean, really, we poop and pee every day, have sex, maybe not every day, but like all of those things need to still happen and function. And it's kind of a big deal if you ask me. So I just wanted to let you know that like standard of care in some European countries is 12 pelvic PT visits postpartum. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so much better to do here in America, like per usual, right? And we really deserve better. We do. And together we can really change this narrative. We as pelvic floor therapists would love to see the standard of care, both all before, during, and after pregnancy. So we can really capture that and really prevent and do true health care versus sick care, which is what our country is based around, is sick care. Unfortunately, most providers don't refer pelvic floor PT because they just don't know what we do and what kinds of things that we can help with. And so that's where your role comes in, of just advocating for yourself, advocating for your friends and family, and letting them know that this is a thing. And I do want to remind everyone that it's never too late to start, even if you're 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years postpartum. The oldest person that I've personally helped stop peeing her pants was 92. So she had 8 children. She came in, was leaking with literally every movement she did, rolling over in bed, standing up, walking. And in just a short couple of weeks, we were able to get her to stop leaking completely. And she was 92. So let's just celebrate that for a second. If she can do it, so can you. And remember that once postpartum, always postpartum. And like I said earlier, like you don't even have to have kids to have this be a thing either. We see a lot of athletes, gymnasts, weightlifters, powerlifters, those kind of people who have who are already leaking and stuff like that without even having kids. So know that that's still an option. Using our no Kegels holistic approach is literally the only thing between keeping your pants dry along with any other pelvic floor issue. So next slide. Let's talk about Kegels. This is Mr. Kegel. And why they could potentially be doing more harm than good. So Dr. Arnold Kegel is an American gynecologist. Back in 1948, he defined the contraction of the pelvic floor muscles as just that, like a contraction. He just named them Kegels, like we do everything else if you name it your name. So just basically, it's just a pelvic floor contraction is Kegel. So let's use the bicep analogy here. So if I have my bicep here, I'm gonna stand up for this. It can go all the way down and all the way up. And so your pelvic floor also needs to be able to do that. It needs to be able to contract up, relax, and extend through that full range of motion. And it needs to fluctuate with the demands that you place on it. So one reason why Kegels might not work, it could potentially give you more harm than good, is if you have a lot of tightness in it. So think, for example, if you had a lot of tightness in your upper traps here, and you're like, oh man, this is so tight and so painful. Would you do this if you were tight and painful in your upper traps? Heck no. Like, so why would we ever do that with the pelvic floor? So if you have a really tight pelvic floor and you're doing Kegels, it's basically like doing upper trap shrugs when you have tons of upper back and neck pain. It just doesn't make sense. And it could cause more headaches and other symptoms and things like that. So it could totally counterproductive. And then also, additionally, if you're chronically contracted up in a full Kegel and you don't have full range of motion, well, what happens if you put a 50-pound dumbbell in your arm? It's going to go whoop and drop all the way. The same thing happens with your pelvic floor if it's really tight and you go to overload it with jumping, seizing, coughing. And if it's not mobile and stable, then it just gives way and then you leak. So that could be another reason why Kegels are not the answer. And this is why we feel so passionate as pelvic floor therapists of not just blindly throwing Kegels at everything, because most of the time it does more harm than good. And most people have some sort of elevated or dysfunctional pattern going on where Kegels would make it worse. So moral of the story, it needs a system approach through it to look and figure out what's really the true underlying root cause of what's causing the leaking in the first place. And so some key points here with Kegels is some of the times when you should not do Kegels, especially if you have pain with sex or any type of penetration, dealing with constipation, difficulty emptying your bladder or bowels, you have rectal or vaginal pain, you have a strong urgency, urinary urgency and frequency, or burning, tailbone pain, and last but not least, especially if they have not worked or they're making your symptoms worse, like don't do them, right? Common sense. But when should you do them? Obviously, I'm very like pro no Kegel. However, there are times and places where it's like, okay, we do need to do a little bit of strengthening something here. So the only time you should really be doing true Kegels is if you have a true muscle weakness or endurance, and those deficits have been pointed out by a pelvic health practitioner that is like a pelvic PT, OT, someone who specializes in this and has uniquely assessed you for what's going on. And it's actually what you really need. And so really that should then play then into a functional movement pattern and build off of that. You shouldn't just be doing Kegels upon Kegels upon Kegels on a table. Like, nope, not the right place. All right, next up. All right, we made it to the 3-tiered foolproof hack. These are the 3 tiers that we are talking about here. So this is where the attendance comes in. If you've made it this far, get ready because the best is yet to come. The 3 tiers are breathing, posture, and pressure management. I'm going to break each of these down into a little bit more detail to give you some more hacks to start implementing right away. So first off is breathing. So a lot of us think that diaphragmatic breathing is putting one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. And then what we want to do is I want to game change this for you. So breathing is our foundational movement no matter what. If you're live, you're breathing. And so you're literally moving from the inside out, and our diaphragm sits right at our rib cage here. And so pelvic floor then mimics that up and down like this. And so getting a good breathing base is essential. And so most people put hand on chest, hand on belly, and they belly breathe. Not what we want to be doing. So I think we can do so much better. So what I want you to do is I want you to do what's called a 360-degree breath. Is you're going to put your hands around your rib cage, right around bra line, and then breathe in. And then you could put one in front, one in back. And make sure you're expanding 360 degrees around there. So what happens if you're not getting that good expansion is your pelvic floor doesn't get to move in that sump pump. So if you're breathing chest breathing like this, then pelvic floor doesn't even move. And so it's really essential to get that diaphragm moving, to get that pelvic floor moving up and down. Okay, so that tackles a little bit of breathing. Next, we have posture. So the important part of this with posture is making sure that your rib cage is stacked over top of your pelvis. So same thing with your posture. So if you're up like this and have an open flare to your ribs, you're going to create pressure that flares this way. So your rib cage isn't going to move as well, and your pelvic floor is not going to move as well. And the pressure, if you were to think about it like a pop can, you have your diaphragm on top, pelvic floor on the bottom, abs in the front, back muscles in the back. And if you were to do this, that pop can is going to have a lot of pressure one way or another, and that can cause a lot of leaking. And vice versa, if you slouch over, it's going to do the opposite this way and give a lot of pressure towards the back end. So having that posture is essential to making sure that you're not leaking, of rib cage stacked over pelvis. And oftentimes when people are jumping or lifting or doing anything like that, just pitching yourself forward a little bit can put you in a really good alignment position to help with that posture and make sure that canister pressure is doing really good. So all 3 of these tie into all together in and of themselves. So the next one, oops, I have a typo. I put 4 and it should be 3. Sorry about that. Is pressure management. So again, that is the same thing with the canister. If you're tilted, that thing, holding your breath pressurizes it. Sneezing, coughing pressurizes it. And so it's simple biomechanics here. If your pressure above is greater than the pressure below, you leak. Simple as that. So if you're able to know that you're going to cough or sneeze and you don't do this and come down, you're going to pressure manage that better. So I always tell people to sneeze and cough out versus down so that you can have it come out at you, out away from you versus down into your pelvic floor. And then also activating that pelvic floor to kind of brace for what you're doing. So basically you're going to do a contraction of your pelvic floor and then sneeze and cough and see what, and then you should be able to help with that. So keeping good posture, sneezing out, contracting your pelvic floor to create that pressure system that has really good management through that. So that's really, in a nutshell, our 3-tiered foolproof hack to help you stop leaking when you sneeze, cough, laugh, lift, run, or jump with your pelvic floor. Basically, you're just trying to make sure that pressure is managed, your posture is good, and you're having good breathing expansion. So we focus on all 3 of these things in clinics so that you make sure you don't leak. And I want to just give you a couple quick tips that you can implement right away with some of these things that are really easy. First step is to make sure you're breathing and not holding your breath, like I said. So if you hold your breath, you pressurize that canister, and that can cause you from leaking. So whenever you lift something, or if you're moving something, pushing something, things like that, make sure you're breathing out. Always exhale on exertion. And then another thing too is, like, if you're going to go jump or lift or do anything like that, you can coordinate your breathing with that, of exhaling when you land or jump and seeing if you can coordinate that. Oftentimes people who are doing like jumping on the trampoline or jumping rope or doing double unders, things like that, they're holding their breath, and that can cause them to leak from a pressure standpoint and not breathing. And then also kind of, like I said before, tipping forward a little bit to keep rib cage over top of pelvis can help tremendously. I've helped a lot of people, even just within one session, to just change up a couple of these things with these 3 tiers, and it's like, boom, instantly not leaking. Obviously, they have some more underlying things that we might need to work on to have some longer lasting results with that, but it gives you control over some of those bodily functions so you can be confident with what you're doing and be able to keep doing some activity. So those are the 3-tiered foolproof hacks there. And then moving on, we will talk about, I have an extra thing in here. This is where you guys come in. This is probably going to take us overboard on time, but I want to just see if you guys want me to talk about one more really cool thing. Otherwise, I can skip over it. So let me know if you want me to talk about fascia. Just want to make sure that this is worth your time. Okay, perfect. All right, let's keep going. I love it. I love that you guys are nerds like me. Perfect. Okay, so fascia. If you don't know what fascia is, I'm going to explain it all right here. So fascia is basically the spider webby material all over your body. If you think about chicken, you kind of peel chicken apart. Sorry if you're a vegetarian, but you can see the fascia and the spider web material everywhere. And then if you think about an orange and you think about the orange slice, you have the skin around the outside, which is like the skin like your body. And then you have each orange slice that you can then peel apart away from each other. So that's like another fascia layer. That's like your muscles. And then if you take one orange slice and break it in half, you have like other smaller fascicles within that orange slice. And that's another layer of fascia between your muscles and organs and things like that. So think about fascia as a spider web lace material throughout your entire body. You could literally, without it, you would be a blob on the floor, and you can literally move everything and you'd still be a human being in place, which is pretty incredible. It's also your nervous system's highway. So it's how your body communicates through from head to toe all over the place. So I want to talk about one really key structure fascially that we as public health practitioners really focus in on, and it's called the deep frontal fascial line. So if you don't know what that is, I would highly recommend Googling it and pulling it up. I just don't have copyright on those, so I couldn't put that slide in here, but it literally goes from your side of your head through your jaw, your neck, your rib cage, your hip flexors, QL, low back, into the pelvic floor, down through your adductors or your inner thighs, and then all the way down to your feet. And so this plays a huge role And so we're going to do a little bit of a pelvic floor magic trick for you now. And this works in about 90% of people. So if it doesn't work for you, don't get bent out of shape, because if you're really super flexible or really mobile, it might not work for you because you already have a lot of mobility. But I want you to grab something close by, whether it's a water bottle, a tennis ball, lacrosse ball, foam roller, something that you can roll on the bottom of your feet that's kind of hard. And so go ahead and grab something like that right now. It could be a rolling pin, anything. Yes, Brianna, the deep frontal fascial line. So first off, I want you to stand up, and I want you to bend over towards your toes and see how far down you can bend. And I just want you to get an assessment of where am I at? Where do I feel tight? How far do I get when I'm going down there? And then I want you to take whatever thing you have, whether it's a ball, foam roll, kids ball, something like that, where you can rub it underneath the bottom of your feet. So you're going to take about a minute on each of these. You're going to roll your ball or whatever object you got underneath one foot, and about moderate pressure. You're not going to don't hurt yourself, but like do a moderate amount of pressure where you're getting it rolled out, so to speak. And then I want you to do a minute on the other side. And once you do this for a minute on each side, I want you to bend forward again and just see how you feel. How did it feel any different? Better, worse, or same? Keep it simple. Don't like read too much into it. But I want you to just see, how does that feel after you've tried both bottoms of the feet for 1 minute each. And then once you get done, what you're probably going to notice is that you either moved a little further or it was easier to get down. And if not, again, no big deal, because it works on about 90% of people, because we're just communicating with one end of that fascial line, of that deep frontal fascial line. And so for those of you who moved further and farther, you probably felt like, whoa, why does this feel so different? Like, how did this magic trick work? And really all we're doing is communicating with your nervous system within your fascial system through that deep frontal fascial line, which allows you to instantly move further without much resistance, which is pretty darn cool. So now just imagine if we were to do that somewhere else in your body along that fascial line, whether it was your pelvic floor, your adductors, your inner thigh, your hip flexors, your jaw. So a lot of times things can be related up and down the chain that could be connecting to your pelvic floor. And you can literally change your body from the inside out doing things like this. It's really, really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little extra credit there. All right, now just as an overview to wrap up what we covered today so far, we talked about gaining confidence and control using a no Kegels approach. And then we also learned why Kegels might be doing more harm than good. And then as a bonus for joining live today, I went over our 3-tiered foolproof hack, just because you stayed here to the end. And then threw in that extra fascial bonus too, just because I just can't not talk about that piece. It's so important in so many things. And the nervous system connection with the fascial system. And so now I know you're here because you want to take back control of your body and your life from the inside out in regards to leaking. And by now, you know, Kegels are not the answer. And you know that just giving it some more time and dealing with it, or that's just normal, is also not the answer. And but now you really know that you probably need some expert guidance and advice other than just Kegels to stop leaking once and for all. Now, maybe eventually you could totally put all these pieces together in order to stop peeing your pants. That took me a doctorate of physical therapy, thousands of hours and dollars of continuing education, and 10 years plus of clinical experience and specialized training and all of this to do that. So you can totally do that too. And I literally just can't like keep this information to just myself. I need the world to know all of this stuff. And for many of our patients and clients who have struggled for years and seen multiple providers before finding us and our holistic no Kegels approach, they wish they would have known sooner. And they always say, why doesn't everyone know this? And why did I have to see 8 providers before I finally found you? I really don't want that to be you. Again, this is like my life's mission to change the world one vagina at a time. I want you to stop peeing your pants. I want you to ditch your pain. I want you to be able to enjoy intimacy and the fastest way possible with saving lots of frustration, time, energy, doctor's visits, money. And I'm going to make it really easy for you guys to take action today so that you can get the results that you both want and deserve. Just like my 92-year-old patient who I mentioned earlier, she was able to stop leaking with every movement, getting in and out of bed. walking, sit to stand, that kind of stuff like that. And just like one of my other recent patients, Allison, who within 1 hour of working with me using this 3-tiered hack and walking her through that, she implemented and immediately stopped leaking. It was really awesome. So for my invitation for you today is for you to join our program called the Optimal Vagina Beyond Kegels. It's literally everything I teach my patients in clinic using what I call girlfriend speak. So just like I'm doing right now, with a step-by-step method by educating and empowering you about your very own body so that you can take control of your body and life from the inside out. It's also literally everything I would want my grandma, my mom, my friends, my daughters, and my sister to know about their pelvic health. I seriously made this course specifically with you in mind because every single one of my patients wishes they would have known this information sooner. Heck, I wish I would have known this information before having to go figure it out myself, and because I spent all this time, money, energy to figure it out. And it's literally everything I tell my patients in clinic. Again, they say, why doesn't everyone know this? It literally breaks my heart every time because it's simple stuff. It's simple stuff that you should know about your own body, and you don't have to suffer in silence and just live with it. There's so much that can be done. So let's dive in a little bit deeper about what the optimal vagina is. It's where, together with my support, you're going to become the expert of your body from the inside out and really shift away from any previous thoughts about Kegels, everything pelvic floor, bringing awareness into other areas of your body with a holistic no Kegels approach, and I really understand the power of knowledge and what's lacking with our very own knowledge about our very own bodies. And through this proven method, we're going to help you really learn the foundational tools to not only be, but become the expert of your own body. The Optimal Vagina Beyond Kegels is the only thing you need to create this strong, stable, capable, resilient, and confident pelvic floor that doesn't leak with any activities. This is the same method I use with our patients to stop leaking when they sneeze, cough, laugh, jump, lift, or run in the fastest way possible. The Optimal Vagina is also completely online. It can be completed at your own schedule from the comfort of your own preferred mobile device or computer. And once you enroll, you'll get instant access to each lesson immediately. It's self-paced, and it's meant to serve you for a lifetime. So your training includes audios, workbooks, walkthrough tutorials, charts, PDF downloads, resources, and much more. I do have in here a little video that I will share. I couldn't attach it in here with the platform I'm using, but I'm going to share it right now. So hopefully it's sharing. And then you can look and see all the pieces that are included in there. And so for anyone today that is a fast for action taker like myself, I would say I want to reward you today. So I'm going to be giving you an additional bonus. If you enroll today while live on this for the Optimal Vagina, I'm going to gift you the bonus of the Optimal Glutes Mom, Butt, and Beyond. It's completely free. So normally the Optimal Glutes course itself is $297, but I know how important glutes are that actually work efficiently and effectively, and it can make a world of difference in your results because of it's the biggest muscle in your body, and they connect directly to your pelvis and your pelvic floor. So you can say goodbye to mom butt and leaking for good. So you get both courses if you enroll today. So here's what you're going to come away with. A holistic, no Kegel approach for anyone with a desire to follow simple steps that will get you the Optimal Vagina Beyond Kegels, as well as the bonus Optimal Glutes, Mom, Butt, and Beyond. There's literally no question about where to start and what to do next. And I will journey along with you inside of that through this step-by-step process, having you take control of your body and life from the inside out, while learning to trust your bladder with confidence. And you're going to get instant access to both of them together, which is well over a $200,000 or $20,000 value. And it's for the price of $297 today only. I've literally never offered this before. I'm giving away both the Optimal Vagina and the Optimal Glutes for $297. So I'm going to give that here in the thing, just so you have it. Starting the offer now. And then I'm also going to throw it in the comments here for everyone if you want to jump on that. I just got to copy it. There we go. And this offer is literally only available while live today. Otherwise, you can totally purchase it, both of these courses at regular price on our website any other time. And so let me go over quickly what is you're going to save on if you were to purchase this. So the Optimal Vagina Beyond Kegels is about $8,000 worth of education for you. You could be saving money on expensive MRIs, x-rays, all sorts of imaging. You could be saving money on your urogynecological testing. You could also be saving more money on ER visits, doctor visits, medications, thousands, like $10,000 worth of surgery, and also lots of money on pads and adult diapers that you won't need. And then also the gift of the Optimal Glutes, Mom Butt and Beyond, that's included. And then I have a limited time bonus as well. So for the first 5 people that purchase the Optimal Vagina and Optimal Glutes today, I'm going to give the first 5 a free remote consultation, which is a 60-minute one-on-one Zoom with one of us here at Reborn. My staff might think I'm a little nuts for doing this, but I want to make this well worth your time. And I know that one of the things is for a lot of people is they need that individualized care and want to have a specific plan for themselves. So I want to make sure that that is something that's feasible for you. And so go ahead, and I would love for you to join. And so, like I mentioned before, this is the exact steps that you'll need to stop peeing your pants and get rid of pain and dysfunction anywhere around your pelvis. And I can promise you that I can absolutely bridge that gap of what you've been missing before rather than doing this on your own. I'm 100% confident in that. And so I really invite you to go get registered. Right now would be great. And then I would love to give those first 5 the free remote consult, which in and of itself is our eval is $245. So that's basically a free remote consultation. So yeah. Oh, Amanda's already working with us. All right. I would say that this would maybe fill in the gaps of if you're already working with us. So there's a lot of other content in there that might not specifically be for you individually, but we go over, like I have in there foam rolling things, core stuff, glute stuff, posture stuff, postpartum birth prep stuff. There's also a kids section. So we go over how to do like potty training and making sure kids are set up like that. So you could potentially help with that. Amy, yes, we do help. We do talk about diastasis recti, and we talk about why it's not all about closing the gap and how to use the BIOS integrity model through that. So we do cover that in there as well. If you guys have any other questions of what else is on there, you can totally throw it in there. I'll get to those questions in just a second. Let's see here. I was going to say one more thing. And if you're wondering, like, is this for me? Basically, if you have a vagina, 100% yes, 1,000% yes, 1,000,000% yes. It's literally everything that I would want everyone to know about anything about their own pelvic health and wellness and things like that. So I just want to make sure that you are asking your questions here. Hold on, another question here. How many courses is it? What kinds of time commitment does this program require? Great question, Kate. So the course is about, I think there's like, and this might seem like a lot, it's like 50, don't quote me, 56 or 58 modules, but most of the videos are anywhere from like 3 to 10 minutes long. And they're me walking you through, educating you, showing you, demo doing, implementing. The Optimal Glutes is a little bit shorter program because it's literally broken up into steps. So it depends on how long you make it. You have to go through each step before you progress on, and then you build on that. So hopefully that answers that. Barbara, I don't have any leaking issues, but my prolapse is getting lower. Will this help me avoid surgery? Potentially, yeah. Especially if it gets you with the right provider at the right time, you can learn and educate yourself about what you need to know from a pressure management standpoint, from a BIOS integrity model, from what pelvic floor PT can do for you. And hopefully that will help educate you and guide some of your questions to some of your other practitioners of like, oh, should I try pelvic floor PT before I do surgery? And even if you have to have surgery, doing pelvic PT afterwards. Yep, prolapse. Yep, talk about prolapse in there as well. There's a big thing. Oh, thanks, Brianna. She did all the hard work. She's just being nice. I just helped guide her. And then, so really right now, I want you guys to think about first of all, are you committed to taking charge of your body and life from the inside out so you can stop leaking for once and for all? And secondly, am I the person to help you do that? And what I want you to do right now is really make that decision. Like, are you committed to changing? And I know that 100% certainty that I'm going to help you get better results than what your OB would, your midwife, your chiropractor, massage therapist, mom or friend, or any other regular physical therapist would, for that matter, be able to provide you in regards to pelvic rehab. And certainly this will be way more effective and efficient than you trying to figure it out on your own. I both personally and professionally know the difference that this can make. And I would be absolutely honored to be on that journey with you through our comprehensive, holistic, no Kegels approach. And if you're feeling embarrassed, hopeless, or frustrated with your pelvic health, I really want to prove to you that you can change it. I know what a huge value this is, and I literally can't put a price tag on how life-changing it is to get control back over your bladder and your pelvic health. And so just want to remind you before I jump into more questions and answer section here, that if you purchase today on the webinar here, you're going to get that limited time bonus of the optimal glutes. And then also the add-on bonus, good for just the first 5 people that register, I'm going to give a free remote consultation to, which is a 60-minute one-on-one with us. So you guys can go ahead and put more questions in the chat. And so basically this is the biggest question. Like I said, is this for me? Yes. If you have a vagina, 100%, 1000%, million %. But I do want to go over who this is not for. So this is not for someone who's looking for a 4, 6, 8, 12-week like postpartum exercise program. Nope, not at all. This is not that. You'll be very disappointed if that's what you're looking for. It's not an exercise program. It's rather a more comprehensive, holistic, total lifestyle shift that's really easy to integrate into real life. And it's also the foundational framework and knowledge base that you need before you start doing an exercise program. And it'll make any exercise program that you do that much more effective and efficient, just because you're going to have the foundational knowledge behind it. We get tons and tons of people that have tried this exercise program and that exercise program, this mommy tummy fix program, and this diastasis recti fix and this prolapse fix. And it's really like most of them are blown away with like how holistic this no Kegels approach is, and it saves them a ton of time, energy, and money, and it really restructures things so that they're able to do exercises more effectively and with better results. And if I'm honest with you, most of them are pretty upset that they didn't know this stuff before they started doing an exercise program. So that's really what this is about, is that foundational framework going into any of that. So by now, you know, pelvic health should absolutely not be something that you try on your own or solely trust with any other Instagram influencer, and especially someone who does say do Kegels all the time. You should have 100% on board some sort of pelvic health practitioner that is an expert in this to help you navigate your journey. And I would honestly absolutely be honored to be that for you. And I really hope that the optimal vagina and the optimal glutes can really provide that throughout all of that for you. Okay, we'll start up the questions here. Aw, thanks, Taylor. You're so nice. Kristen, can this be purchased with the HSA? No, it cannot, because it's not considered a medical service. It is a health and wellness service. And so I can't diagnose anything. I can't provide treatment on that. So that is part of like the disclaimer is like, it's the best we can do with an online format. So you can't use HSA. Any other major credit card is totally fine. It's all with PayPal. And then Barbara, I have an appointment with Pelvic PT in North Carolina. Awesome. How do you feel? How do I know if they're any good? Great question. You want to interview them kind of like your hairdresser. Honestly, you want to make sure you vibe with them. They're going to be all up in a lot of things. And so do you connect with them is the number one thing. And then do they take a holistic approach on things? So you can ask questions of like, how long have they been a pelvic PT? What's their approach? What are their treatment styles? And I honestly would probably go maybe do a couple if you can, like just initial evaluations with people to see who's the best fit for you, or to see if you can talk on the phone with them too. We do free remote phone consults as well. So we would just hop on the phone with someone before they become a patient to make sure we can answer their questions, so they can hear what we do, how we do things, and make sure we're a good fit before we commit to that time value of that. So yeah. Would this be better in person? I would say like 100% gold standard care, like in person, 100%. Like that is the best. However, not everyone has access, and people don't necessarily know what they don't know. And so this is kind of that springboard to really armor you with all that foundational knowledge. So if I were to have someone, and quite honestly, this is what we're going to probably end up start doing, is we're going to have a wait list here pretty soon. And so we're probably going to recommend that people do this before they come in to see us, so they can have all that foundational knowledge in, and then they get in, we can like get to work. So I would look at it that way, of like an investment into understanding your body really well, and then helping you catapult and launch into the in-person stuff that much more successfully. Let's see here. So for some of the modules like dry needling, yes. Is that just to inform someone of the options? Yes. And many of these modules are more about information that will guide you to find. Yes, exactly. So Kate, this is, yes, I go over basically like the science behind dry needling, what it does, how it helps, things like that. And then so you can make a decision of like, do I want that as part of my care? And a lot of this is, again, that foundational knowledge, but you need all of that knowledge to then put the other puzzle pieces together to then be able to work on and fix yourself. Without this stuff, it's literally really hard to comprehensively come through that, because we spend so much time in the modules here with people in clinic that if they had known this stuff, it would be way faster. So think about it like that. Yay, you did a phone consult with me. Perfect. Awesome. I'm glad it was super helpful. And I can't wait to see you. Any other questions at all? I'll give you a few more minutes. So if you're still on the fence, you got a couple more minutes. If you would like to purchase the optimal vagina, I'm going to go ahead and throw the link back in the chat again. So the optimal vagina, the optimal glutes, and for the first 5 are going to get a free remote consult with us, which is a Zoom online. Ooh, great question, Brooke. Can pelvic floor therapy help with fertility? 100% yes. So I also cover that in there too. And so we help from a mechanical standpoint. So we obviously can't change hormones or things like that if there's other issues going on with fertility. And so they're actually close to 50% of fertility issues are mechanical. So if you have any scar tissue, if you have any blockage in your fallopian tubes, we have like manual therapy techniques where we can do some rolling of the tubes to help unblock them, fascia around the uterus, like all sorts of things. So we think about it as more of like, we can help make a more hospitable environment to promote a healthy and happy pregnancy that is viable. But if there are other issues like genetic things or hormone things, like obviously we can't help with that. But we definitely have a role in the fertility, especially with like endometriosis, tube blocking, C-section scars, secondary infertility because of a C-section, things like that. So yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay. Oh, you see Nicole. Yay. Someone that's covered in insurance. Don't feel like she has as many options available. So I was wondering if this is something I can totally do on my own. Oh yeah. This is the hard part. So obviously, like kind of how I said before, is you really need that individual one-on-one care is the best, gold standard, hands down. I will never ever try to replace this course with like that in-person care. This is more to armor you with every knowledge piece that you should know, and then some about other things like kid potty training things and foam rolling, and like how you can integrate it all in holistically. And then, but you also need the like hands-on one-on-one for some of the things like dry needling. You can't do that yourself, unfortunately. So yeah. Aw, thanks, Brianna. Anyone else? Any other questions? Hopefully this was worth your time and you learned a lot just in the short little period of time. But yeah, totally. Yep. I would agree with that, Brianna. So like the amount of information that's in there is about 6 visits worth of me talking. So I think it's like 6 hours total. And so I literally can't fit that all into one session. And so if you were able to like piece away at it a little bit, you go in armored with a lot of knowledge, knowing what you do know from that, and then be able to help kind of advocate for yourself and help dictate your care a little bit, in the sense of like what you need and how you're kind of connecting the dots and things like that. I personally love it when people come in and they're able to say like, oh, I think this is what's going on, this is going on. And then we dive down those holes and either confirm or deny what's truly going on, and then kind of piece those pieces in of like what else is needed to get there. Thanks, Brianna. Thanks, Kate. It's just now live. Yep. I want to reward the action takers. Sorry. I know that people who are action takers like me do really well. And so I want to make sure that I'm rewarding those people. But yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yay. Another thing too, Barbara, is we do the remote consultations. So we use that to help you find someone locally. And if you don't find someone locally, we do offer out of town programs where you can fly into Utah and we see you for about a week's time, about anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours each day, and really get working on things and get you set up with a really robust program to send you home to be on a really great success trajectory. So if you aren't locally to Utah, that's always an option. That's why we offer those remote consultations, is so that we can get to know you, establish where you're at, help you kind of navigate through your situation, whether it ends up being locally or what other providers you need on your team. And then if you can't find anyone locally or you're just not satisfied with the care that you're getting, you can certainly fly in to come see us. We do have patients that do that. So, and those are always really, really fun for me anyway. So yeah, any other questions? All right. Well, you guys are welcome to go and hop off. I'm going to stay on just for a few minutes to give everyone ample opportunity. And if you have any other questions, please speak up. Okay. I'll wait for you. Totally will wait for you, Jessica. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, you're so welcome. Awesome. You're welcome. You guys are so nice. I love it. Okay. I will put the link in again. Okay. I will totally hold on for you guys. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'll put it back in. And if any other questions pop up, feel free. I'm just going to hang out for a few minutes for these people that are trying to check out. Ooh, that is a great question. You're welcome, first of all. And then where are new OBGYNs familiar with this therapy? Great question. So it's just kind of hit or miss, honestly. Some of the newer ones that are out there are definitely a little bit more aware and a little bit more pro pelvic health. It just really depends on the person, where they've been trained, where they're working, what the atmosphere is there. And if I'm completely honest with you, most of our referrals don't come from physicians very regularly. We get a lot of just word of mouth referrals, and then people actively looking out and seeking care themselves. So that's where a majority of our people come from, but we're also in a different model than other people. So we're not in a healthcare system. We're completely out of network private practice. And so that is just organically kind of grown through us. But that's one of the things that I try super hard to do, is just educate people in general. And hopefully that word starts to spread a little bit more, and it becomes standard routine care to recommend that. A lot of people that are really good at doing it are amazing doulas and midwives and chiropractors, massage therapists a little bit are in that realm too, just because we're taking a more holistic side of things versus the medical model side of things. And so those people tend to be a little bit more on top of like what we're doing. But yeah. Yes, I will definitely. Awesome, Kate. I'm so glad. Yes, I'll let you know if you're one of the first 5. I'll probably reach out to you either today or tomorrow or sometime like that, when I can sift through it all, and I'll let you know. Yeah. Anyone else having trouble or still need more time? You're welcome. Oh, yay. Awesome, Angelica. Well, I hope you want to become a pelvic floor PTA next, because we need more of us, that's for sure. Anyone else still waiting? There's still 9 of you on, so I'm just making sure everyone's good. Or do I need to wait a little bit longer? Check to see if you've paid. Yes. Let me see. I do not see you in here, Jessica. I get an email when someone has paid. So I don't see anything there. We're good. No worries. I'm not a like tech expert by any stretch, so I'll give you plenty of time. I'm in no rush. My husband's putting the kids to bed, so it's all good. Like I literally don't have anywhere to be right now, so I will totally wait for you. One more question. Is this lifetime access to these courses, or is there a limited time? Currently right now, if you buy it normal price, it's lifetime access. However, this one today is 6 months, because I want people to use that remote consultation. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I want people to do it, use remote consultation, and otherwise, like sometimes people don't do it, and so I want to make sure like people actually do it, set up a remote consultation, go through that process to make sure people are getting the care that they need. So this one is 6 months. Great question. I should have went over that. Yep, if you're not buying, you can totally log off. Yep, you don't have to stand. You're more than welcome to hang out if you want. Awesome. You're welcome, Jessica. Thanks so much. Hope you're doing well. Sounds good. I haven't seen it come through yet, Jessica, so I hope everything like went on your end. All right. If I don't hear anything else from anyone else, I'm going to sign off myself. And thanks, everyone.